Hi, my name is Amy Mazzi and I'm with Centurion Boats, and today I'm going to walk you through the all-new 2022 Ri230. This boat is revolution innovated. Just like the Ri245 and Ri265 that we introduced last year, this boat is unlike anything else on the market in a 23-foot size class. It accommodates 14 people, has as much as 5,400 pounds of ballast in it. This boat is bigger than anything you've seen in the 23-foot size class, and I'm going to tell you all about it. The first distinguishing characteristic you'll notice about the 2022 Centurion Ri230 is the bow of the boat, but not necessarily because of the shape of the bow or the seating on the inside, but it's the lighting up front. You've got a lit Centurion logo right on the front grille. Then you have docking lights that are standard on the Ri series. They are 4,800 lumens a side. 4,800 lumens, that's like the power of an LCD projector. These things are bright and they illuminate the water in front of you or the dock in front of you anytime you need it, but they also just look cool. So not only does the Ri230 look beautiful and somewhat intimidating, it is beautifully intimidating, especially on the water. This boat has amazing ballast capacity, as much as 5,400 pounds. More than half of that is ram fill. And this year it's ram fill squared, or as we like to call it, the new baller system. Let me tell you a little bit about ram fill. For those of you who aren't familiar, this is a hard tank on either side, actually two tanks, on either side of the lounge that bring in water. Actually, water is rammed into a scoop that's mounted on the bottom of the boat. And this happens in about 90 seconds. You'll get more than half of the ballast available in this boat filled up and ready to ride. The reason that that's so amazing is because it's such a large quantity of water being brought onto the boat in such a short period of time, but also the placement of this ballast is very, very important. So I said it's below the floor in the lounge. That means it extends from the driver's seat all the way back to the transom of the boat. That is a great distribution of weight, and it allows the boat to ride more level in the water when it's filled. This allows more of the running surface to be displaced evenly and basically makes your wave longer behind the boat. And this all happens in 90 seconds. And then you can drain it in just about the same amount of time. It's very easy to use, very effective, and definitely makes big water behind this boat. So we talked about the amount of displacement that's available in the Ri230, as much as 4,500 pounds. More than half of that is created by the ram fill system, ram fill squared this year. But what really makes the difference in shaping the wave and the wake behind this boat is the hull, the running surface. This OptiV hull is optimized, as the name would suggest, to create greatly shaped waves and wakes behind the boat, but because it's a modified deep V, it also absorbs the shock of rough water really, really well. But let me tell you, typically a deep V is going to have some balance issues, some side-to-side weight shift, and that's typically what you find to be a negative when you're talking about a deep V hull. The reason that doesn't happen with the OptiV is because of the optimized triangular pads that are on the rear corners of the boat. What these allow the boat to have is balance. So we can get a symmetrical wakeboard wake, we can get surf waves on either side that are identical to one another, and it allows for that optimization to happen. But that's typically what it means to you. The other thing that the hull design gives this in relation to the ballast is optimum displacement and even displacement. So what happens is the entire running surface gets weighted down by the ballast and it displaces water. What that does is it gives you that great shaped wake or wave, but it also makes it extremely long. Because the entire running surface is being displaced, it makes the wave really long out the back, as much as 26 feet long in some cases. What that gives you is push throughout the wave. So I can have great push at the curl. I can also have great push towards the back of the boat. And you've got your choice throughout that spectrum where you want to ride. You don't have to pick one sweet spot. You've got an entire range of spots you can surf on the wave behind an Ri230. So we talked about the shape of the running surface underneath the Ri230, and it is an Opti-V hull, an optimized deep V. But there's something a little bit different on the Ri series. There's a little bit more hook built into the back of the boat. What hook is a slight downturn right on the rear delta pad of the boat. So right in the center at the transom, it turns down slightly. What that does is it creates more lift at the back of the boat. And the reason I explain that is because of QuickSurf Pro. So QuickSurf Pro is our surf system. It is a system built on plates. So essentially there's one plate mounted on either side of the rear corner of the boat. Opposite the surf side, the plate goes down. It creates lift opposite the surf side, digs the surf corner and displaces water, makes that wave on the side that you're surfing. When you want to switch it up, you basically hit the other side. So if you're surfing right, you hit left. If you're surfing left, you hit right, and the boat will switch in about 1.8 seconds. But the reason I mentioned that hook built into the bottom of the boat is the Ri series, compared to any other Centurion, requires less QuickSurf plate. It requires less of that lift because there's already some lift being created just with the shape of the hull itself. That's something to remember, because when you are looking to increase the height of your wave, you don't want to give it more plate. You actually want to give it less plate. And that's what it starts to become the logic of this particular boat. When you're looking to get that wave to be as steep as possible, you want to allow the back of the boat to displace as much water as possible. When you give more QuickSurf plate, it will create more lift at the back of the boat than is already being created with that hook that's built into the shape. So there's a happy medium. The great part is that you've got 100 points of adjustment on either side with either QuickSurf plate, so you can make that wave exactly the shape you want, exactly the height you want, and that's what QuickSurf Pro allows you to do. Specifically, the Ri230 allows you to get that wave dialed. So we've talked a lot about the running surface, we've talked about the ballast system, we've talked about QuickSurf Pro. One of the other things that's signature to Centurion is the Silent Stinger wake plate. This wake plate, or trim tab as some people would call it, changes the running attitude of the boat in the water. When this plate goes down, it makes the nose of the boat go down. It creates lift at the back of the boat, gets that most aggressive part of the V underneath the bow cutting through the water. When this plate is up, as it appears to be here, it allows the back of the boat to get deeper into the water and the bow of the boat comes up. So it changes the running attitude. What's different about the Silent Stinger wake plate is that it does a whole heck of a lot more. So what this does is actually takes down the noise of the engine. So it's not as loud on the interior of the boat. It does that by taking the exhaust from the engine and tumbling it with water that's forced into the bottom of the plate through a series of baffles. What this does is it dampens the engine noise. This allows you to have a normal conversation on the inside of the boat, which makes a day on the water so much more enjoyable. The other piece of this is it disrupts that exhaust line that sometimes you can get that'll run through your wave and can catch your board from time to time. This disturbs that exhaust to the point where it kind of dissipates and goes away. That's one of the things I really appreciate about the Silent Stinger. That, and I'm not yelling all day long just to have a conversation with somebody in the boat. So you may have noticed when we were talking about the Silent Stinger wake plate that there's something else a little unfamiliar here under the swim step, and I'm not just talking about me. I know I'm not normally here either, but we've also got a new option for 2022. This is called the Centurion Shift, and it is our new thruster system. This is exclusive to Centurion and available on any Centurion for 2022. What it does is just what it says, it shifts you from side to side in the back, and it allows you to do that with control at the throttle. So there's a switch. You hit it, it takes you to the right. You hit it, it takes you to the left. It's pretty simple, but there's nothing simple about the construction and the reliability of this system, especially compared to some of the other options out there. This system is made entirely of stainless steel. So not only does it look beautiful, it's extremely resilient. It also really moves the boat. So the propulsion that's inside this tube here really makes a difference, and it allows you to spin the boat in just a matter of seconds all the way around and then spin it back the other way. The cool thing is this system isn't just about the thruster itself or the throttle that we put in the boat. It also has a whole battery system that's built into it. 2 AGM interstate batteries that power this. The reason we upgrade the power system for this is because a thruster can take a lot of energy, especially to work consistently for a long period of time. So this thruster, I can have my button pressed down for as much as 40 seconds and it will be fine. A lot of other systems out there are not powered so that they can sustain that kind of energy. That's one of the great things about the Centurion Shift, is that it does what we need it to do for as long as we need it to do it. So as we make our way up onto the Ri230, you notice this boat's pretty high off the ground, even on the trailer. But in the water, it still might be a little difficult to get up onto. I mean, I know because I've tried it, and sometimes it's hard to get up onto the swim step. You know, the nice thing about this particular swim step is it has kind of a step down to it and a little bit of a roll off, so it's easier. You've also got a handle to grab onto. You've got handles tooled into the swim step to grab onto and pull yourself up. I know because that's what it takes for me to get up on the swim step, unless I have the optional ladder, which is really nice. It's a ladder that kind of telescopes out and hangs down. It allows you a few steps and another aid into getting up onto the swim step, but it also stows away, and it's really easy to put up and put away. And that's one of the things that I like about this ladder, is it makes me look much more graceful when I'm getting onto the boat. So when I'm ready to get in the boat, I want to make sure that I can put everything away. And in the Ri series from Centurion, you've got this rear trunk, which is great for storage. That means I can throw my shoes in there. They never have to make it onto the inside of the boat, which I love. But if you've got the optional transom ballast bag back there, you would think, oh, that's going to take up that whole storage area. Well, not really. You've still got enough headroom clearance, even with that ballast bag full, to take things like shoes, ropes, things even that you might consider a little sharp, because these bags are made out of this similar material to like a Zodiac boat. They're extremely tough and durable, so you can throw stuff on top of them and be just fine, and that way everything can be put away. So after we've got everything put away and we're ready to get in the boat, I'm wondering, do I still want to just hang out? Because the back of this Ri230 is so comfortable. Not only do I have some seating right here above the trunk, I've also got these 2 lean backs that flip up on the back and make lounge seats. So I can sit here, I can hang out, we can swim. Everything is comfortable, put away. But when I'm ready to get in the boat, all I have to do, that ratchet hinge allows me to put those lean backs down, and if somebody wanted to lay out, throw a towel out, they still can. This is very versatile as far as seating on the back of a boat is concerned. You're not back here while the boat is underway, but when you're stopped swimming, there's no better place to be. The Ri230's interior isn't big just for the sake of being big. It's extremely refined and comforting. A lot of that has to do with the vinyl we use. We use a spraddling vinyl to cover our seats. And this vinyl is extremely resilient, but also beautiful. It's available in a number of different colors. This color that you see here that's a little different is called olive gray, and it's a new color for 2022. Beautiful. It works beautifully in this interior scheme. But other than that, you've also got Gore-Tenara thread that connects all of these pieces of vinyl together, and that is strong in and of itself. It's made by Gore-Tex, the name suggests it, but it's extremely resilient. It resists things like acid rain and harsh chemical cleaners that you can sometimes use on your upholstery. So together, this upholstery is nearly bulletproof. I mean, the vinyl itself has a 17 mil top coat, which guards against abrasions and staining. But like I said, it looks beautiful as well. This particular scheme is called Hex Accent Scheme, meaning that the accent pieces are a specific texture, and they're a hexagon type texture. They allow for more surface area. That piece of the interior dissipates heat a little bit better. Then you've got this beautifully plush looking kind of a matte finish base vinyl that also has that same protection of the 17 mil top coat, but it looks different, just enough different and contrasting to the accent that it just makes the interior look a little more high end. So not only is it comfortable, not only is it extremely resilient to the rigors of marine use, but it's also beautiful. This interior has it all. Because the Ri230's interior is so accommodating, it's made for as many as 14 people, we offer a number of different variables for seating configurations. So what you've got is the standard 3-position slide seat in the back here. So this seat can actually go between its rear position, a middle setting, and then all the way towards the helm of the boat. So you can sit or have a couple people sit anywhere you want them to in this area. It also has optional lean backs that can plug into 4 different positions on this seat. So as the seat moves, you've got a rear facing option and a front facing option on either side. It also has an available table which can plug into any one of those 4 receptacles, so the table can move and be almost anywhere you want it to be on the interior of the boat as well. And as far as the table is concerned, it is an option, but you can have it color matched to the interior side panel of your boat. So the interior side panel, you're allowed to choose your color, and it can be any color. It could be matching the outside of the boat, or it could be a completely different gel coat color. We have about 37 choices, and then that color determines the color of your table. And at that point, you can make your table fire red metal flake. You can make it just like this is olive pewter metal flake. You can make it whatever you want. The optional table even has a plug-in location on the back of the boat. So back right above the swim step, there's a place you can mount the table, and so you can hang out back there in those seats and just float the day away. So the Gator Step flooring that's available in the Ri series for Centurion is unlimited almost. So you've got the choice between several different schemes for the flooring. This particular flooring scheme is called the Warrior scheme. You can choose this scheme. We've got a Salute to Service scheme that has a bunch of flags and stars and stripes cut into it. We have a 3-layer Centurion cut, which has a bunch of Centurion logos and lines and comes in either a 2-layer version or a 3-layer version. What that means is, just like this floor, if you have 3 layers, you can choose 15 different colors, or choose between 15 different colors on each layer. On the 2-layer choice, you only get that choice 2 times. But the possibilities are endless. It also could come with the standard single layer shark fin, and you could leave it at that, plain and simple. But you can make this floor exactly what you want it to be, how you want it to look, what colors you want to use on your interior. You can go crazy. So you may have noticed when I stepped into the boat, I stepped right on what you might have thought was the cushion. But it's not. It was a fiberglass color-matched insert with some Gator Step on it, and this is a strong, rigid part that can definitely take my weight and much more. And as I stepped in on it, I didn't have to worry about stepping on my upholstery. Even if I would have had shoes on, we would have been okay stepping in this area of the boat. We made this piece on this particular seat because we not only design and build the boats, we use them too. And we know that, like most of us that are conscientious boaters, we want to keep our interior as nice as it can be. We don't want to step all over it, especially in our shoes. So once everybody has found their seat in the Ri230, then you start to understand just what else this boat has to offer, especially when you're looking at the side panels. Not only in this particular configuration do I have a Roswell stereo system spilling sound onto the interior of this boat, I've got interior lighting that is signature Centurion, billet pieces that are backlit, I've got these grab handles that are billet anodized, and they match the window stanchions and A-pillars. I've got cup holders, a couple within arm's length all times. I mean, there's not a bad seat in this boat because of all the accommodation that's built everywhere. The Ri230 is rated for 14 people, but more importantly, it can accommodate 14 people's stuff. There is storage underneath every one of these lounge seats, and it's hinged, and a lot of times it has a shock. This particular seat is just hinged, but you've got other seats that have a shock. What that means is it'll hold that seat up while I put stuff into it. I don't have to have both hands in order to do it, so it makes the storage plentiful and functional. So standard on the entire Ri series for 2022 is the Drop Zone Auto Tower by Roswell. And this tower does exactly what the name suggests. It drops, it goes down. In fact, it goes down in 14 seconds with a button press, goes up in 17 seconds. It's very easy to use. It's actuated by a linear actuator. What that means is it has very smooth up and down motion, which is helpful. It doesn't vibrate the entire boat when you're putting it up or down, and it's easy to do. Obviously, it does it on its own. It takes all the weight off the tower for you, the user, which makes it easy, even with all this stuff that's available on the Drop Zone Auto Tower. Not only do I have signature custom elements like the tower shields that I can color like the exterior of my boat, but I can also color these shields that are underneath the speakers. I can make this thing look as custom as possible. But then I've got my CoverFire 2.0 sound system, and that gives me 8-inch speakers throughout the interior of the boat by Roswell, as well as these 8-inch speakers, 4 of them on the tower and a 6.5, as well as 2 tweeters up here. What this does is gives you sound that is crisp, clear, and when you want it to be, really loud. The other thing you've got new for this year is the Bombshell 2.0 racks by Roswell. These racks in particular are black. You've got 2 colors. You've got a black painted version or the sandblasted anodized version, silver racks you can choose from. But the racks themselves are innovated for this year. Not only can they accept that 23-inch wide surfboard, they accept it with ease and plush cushioning with this new system they've built into the forks of the racks. So they allow it not to put any kind of a pressure point on your board, so they don't dent your surfboards that you spend so much money on. The other thing this rack has that I absolutely love is a bunch of hangers. Things to hang stuff on. So I can hang wet life jackets outside the boat. I can hang ropes. I can get stuff up, out of the way, put away. I can also put my flags in these racks. So these racks allow me to fly my flag, whatever it may be. You can get an American flag and a Centurion flag that goes along with these racks as an additional package, but you can fly whatever flag you want. I'll leave that up to you. So not only does the Drop Zone Auto Tower give a signature look to the Ri230, it also allows for amazing shade. What I mean by that is you can opt for a bimini on this tower as big as the whole lounge, and this so long bimini covers almost the entire lounge. So if you're looking to catch some rays, you may not want to put the so long bimini up because you're going to be sheltered from the sun all day long. So I know I've talked a lot about a lot of the different places to sit in the Ri230. They're all comfortable, they're all beautiful, they're all accommodating. Got access to cup holders everywhere, speakers, grab handles, you name it. But I can't deny the fact that the driver's seat is the best seat in the house. Why? Because it's got this Cobra racing seat, high back. It's great because it allows me the flexibility to turn, throw a leg over, talk to everybody in the lounge, swivel my seat. I've got a bolster if I need a little bit of a higher perspective, but come on, you can't deny that this is the control center. This is the best seat in the house. I've got great visibility of my dash, which is the Revo side-by-side dash system, and 12-inch screens, 2 of them. And then now I have a 3x5" screen all the way to my right that's optional. And this is called the Rove, range of view screen. And what this gives me is just that, a range of views. I can view my bow camera. I can see what it looks like from the bow of the boat. I can view my rear view camera, which is mounted just above the swim step in the back. I can also see all of my trip data, my fuel usage. Yes, I said it. In a boat, we are going to show you your exact fuel usage, and you can see it within the Rove system. So I can command just about every system of the boat from this seat through these screens, as well as I have some push buttons that allow me easy access to stuff that I need quickly and all the time, like the nav and anchor lights, my blower, my horn, in case somebody's in my way, and I would be able to see if they're in my way. I've also got easy access to a lot of the functions that typically I would have to take my eyes off the water for, but not in the Ri230. So with these sport shifters, I can control my center stinger wake plate and my set speed. So my center stinger wake plate is that plate that we looked at. It's essentially a trim tab. I can control that with these sport shifters. All I have to do is reach out with a couple fingers, pull the top sport shifter to me, and I can bring that plate up, or pull the bottom sport shifter to me and I can put that plate down. And then similarly on the right hand side, I can adjust my zero off set speed. So I can increment my speed by pulling that top sport shifter to me. I can decrement my speed by pulling the bottom one to me. But the whole time, I don't have to take my eyes off the water or my hands off the wheel. It's extremely user-friendly, but ultimately, the driver, the best seat in the house, I'm in control. So when we talk about control, if you want to be able to control this boat with the Centurion Shift system, the optional system we talked about earlier, this is where that control happens. So when you opt for that Centurion Shift package, you get not only that upgraded power system with the 2 interstate batteries, AGM batteries, that power the whole shift, you've also get this optional shifter as well. And it's got this simple little switch. If I push up on it, it will take me to the right. If I push down on it, it'll take me to the left. At least the back of the boat will move that direction. It's as simple as that. The Revo side-by-side touchscreens are big and they take up a lot of this dash. So it's only understandable that you might not notice this 3x5" smaller screen to your right. This is new for this year in the Centurion RIs. For 2022, this is called the range of view system, or the Rove we call it. And what it does is it gives you a range of views of the boat. And one of those views is you have a view of your trip information or your fuel usage statistics. And you can see that quickly. You can also reset that quickly if you want to know how long it took you to get somewhere, how much fuel you've used, what your rate of fuel usage is. You've got all of that information in the Rove screen. But you've also got a rear view camera. So there's a camera mounted just above the swim step where I can see whatever's behind the boat. In this particular view, I've got the inside of a warehouse, but normally I'd see my rider, I'd see the water behind me. But what's really cool about that rear view camera is when I put this boat in reverse, that automatically comes out. So I can see it. As soon as this goes into reverse, I can see what's behind the boat. Just in case there's something back there I shouldn't be moving towards, it's going to tell me with that view. The other piece of this that's new for this year is we have a camera mounted in the bow. So right above where the roller of the trailer goes is a camera. So I can see how I'm loading this boat on a trailer. I can see a dock in front of me where, let's face it, in a lot of these boats that have taller freeboard that are higher up out of the water, I can't necessarily see what's just below the bow. And this camera gives me the option to see that view of the boat. I mean, it's a range of view. It gives me a lot of information about what's just outside, either in front or behind the boat, as well as what my boat is doing fuel-wise. The ROV system, or the Rove as we call it, is going to be amazing, an amazing option for 2022 in the RI series Centurions. So I know that I said the driver's seat is the best seat in the house. I don't mean to alienate anybody by saying that, but let's face it, it's true. But you can't forget about your observer, your passenger, your buddy, your partner right next to you here. They've got some pretty cool stuff going on in their seat as well. You've got access to a glove box, a locking glove box with an anodized billet lid that is lit with the Centurion logo, a couple cup holders. You also have access to this walk-through ice chest, which is nice, in the floor, and you don't have to use it for wet storage. You can use it to store just about anything, and it's out of the way, in the floor. You don't have to have anybody get up to access what's inside of it. And you might have also noticed that this is a true walkthrough. The Ri230, in fact, the whole Ri series Centurions are all walk-through bow boats. So let's check out the bow. The Ri230 has a walk-through open bow, and you can say that about a lot of different boats, but they're not all this. This bow is so plush and accommodating. It has an optional filler cushion, so I can make this bow a playpen like it is now, or I can take this filler cushion out and make it into a little lounge. It has access to storage both on the observer side and behind the dash in case you need to get there. There's an optional U-shaped ballast bag under these seats, and that's all I need to know about that because it doesn't really take up any storage area, yet it's there when I need it, and it doesn't affect my ride. And speaking of ride, when I'm in the bow of a Centurion, and specifically the Ri230, it's a comfortable, smooth ride. Remember, this is a modified deep V. This has the Opta-V running surface underneath it. So it absorbs the shock of rough water like a deep V traditionally does, and it makes the ride in the bow not bumpy at all. Even going back over your own rollers, this is especially a smooth place to ride. I've also got smooth sounds. I've got my Roswell stereo system here up front. I've got a couple cup holders. I've even got a 12-volt power point and 2 powered USB. I could plug in my phone. I've got a bunch of lighting up here, grab handles, just in case the driver's taking those high-speed turns. I've got a place to hold on. And the bow is deep. I can sit down in this bow. I don't feel like I'm gonna tumble out of it, especially if it was rough on the water. I've also got a nice place to step, both on the outside of the bow if I'm coming in boarding from the trailer ladder or from the dock, and I've got a place to step down on too with a hard fiberglass gel-coated part with gator step on it, so I'm not stepping into the boat onto my cushions again. I mean, the bow of this boat is, I don't know, now I'm thinking this might be my favorite seat. I hope you've enjoyed learning about the all-new 2022 Centurion Ri230, and I hope you understand now that this is revolution innovated. There is nothing out there like this, but don't take my word for it. If you want to get to know the Ri230 up close and personal, visit your Centurion Boats dealer today and let us prove it to you on the water.